Matrix of Motion is a personal training studio. We like to focus on every individual client and looking at their specific needs, ensuring that we look at the individual needs and progress from there. When each client has their own challenges and their own injuries, their own goals, we have to make sure that the exercise that we progress with and that we prescribe for each client is specific to them. And that's the biggest foundation when it comes to Matrix of Motion, is just making sure that everything is completely tailored to the specific client. I'd say that Matrix of Motion is unique in our approach to each client. One of the things we always focus on is applying the least amount of unaccustomed exercise. So we are never going to put a client through something that I don't feel that they can handle. We want to ensure that we progress them in a manner that is suitable. We're never going to put them through the ringer, per se, and just hammer them till they're dying and just sweating on the ground, and they feel like they've had this amazing workout and then they can't walk for 5 days. We want to make sure that our clients can progress every single day. When they come in for a workout, I want them to be able to do another workout the next day and continue to progress from there. And I think that's just one of the ways that we just approach our clients in kind of all of our workouts. It's just very specific, very detail-oriented to them, ensuring that ultimately we do no harm to the client. Our goal is to allow them to progress. We don't want them in pain. And that's going to be one of the biggest focuses that we have with each and every one of our clients. And that I think is one thing that really sets us apart from anybody else out there. Muscle activation techniques is a systematical approach to addressing and analyzing the muscular system. It provides me an opportunity to see how well your muscular system is tolerating force. So every time, every day, every time you're moving around, you are under constant force. Whether that is just your constant gravitational forces are always pushing down on you, and it's a matter of having our bodies and our muscular systems capable of handling that force. When we exercise, we are adding on additional force, and if our bodies can't handle that, we need to find a way to increase that tolerance, and that is where muscle activation techniques comes into play. This is it's a tool that allows us to identify how well your muscles are contracting, how well they can sustain a contraction, and whether they can handle the stressors of daily life, those forces of daily life that you're constantly under. We start off with a comparative assessment of mobility. Basically, we want to make sure that whatever one side of your body can do, the other side can do the exact same thing. We're not necessarily looking at degrees of motion per se, but just symmetrical motion. And asymmetry leads me to believe that there is some form of dysfunction or weakness. And weakness is the key there. We don't look at tightness as the issue, but the weakness underlying that is leading to the tightness in the first place. And muscle activation techniques will provide that opportunity to identify where that weakness is and progress from there. Muscle activation techniques is certainly different from most health modalities that you might experience or might have experienced in the past. A lot of my clients actually have claimed it as that missing link. They've done their traditional physiotherapy and chiropractic treatments, and they either hit a point where they no longer progressed, or they didn't see the true benefit or the progress that they were looking for. And a lot of times it's something that just has to be looked at differently. MAT doesn't look at pain. We look at the underlying causes of that pain. Pain is a symptom that there's something wrong, but it does not tell you what is wrong or where the problem is. That's where the comparative assessment of mobility comes into play, where it offers us an opportunity to identify underlying weaknesses. So you may be having pain within your shoulder and you can't rotate your arm, but that pain is just a symptom that there's something wrong, and that's the exit point. So we want to identify where that pain is originating from. It could be within your trunk and spine, it could be within your hip, it could be within your foot. And you never know unless you look there. And I think that's one of the big things that sets MAT apart from everyone else, is that we recognize pain, we recognize those symptoms, and it's not that we necessarily disregard it, but we're not focused on it. And we want to ensure that we find that underlying cause first. If we can figure that out, we can progress from there, and that will get through things that you just won't have from other types of modalities, health modalities. So muscle activation techniques, it's a relatively new modality. The founder, Greg Moulton, originates from Denver, Colorado, and he's been working on MAT and developing this technique for years, probably 25, 30 years that he's been working on this, or in the process of developing it and continually refining those skills. These skills are not something that just anybody knows. I was fortunate enough to be a part, or to take part in the very first Toronto internship that was ever offered by the MAT organization. And that's going back about 5 years now. And that internship gave an opportunity for these specialists to finally come up into Canada and be a little bit more well known. But in the broad scheme of things, they are still few and far between. My background with health and fitness really started back when I was a kid and playing hockey, and I was always interested in sports. And I knew at some point that I wanted to get into the health field and having an opportunity to work with athletes and progress them to the next level. And that started my passion for what I'm doing now. It led me to study kinesiology at York University, and I obtained my Bachelor of Science degree in kinesiology, and from there I'm now a registered kinesiologist with the College of Kinesiologists of Ontario. That provided a real solid foundation for anatomy, biology, physiology, biomechanics, and from there. And my true passion within all of that was definitely the biomechanics side of things, and just the physics involved with movement, understanding how those forces are applied to your body and how to manipulate those forces to work best for every individual. From there, I started taking additional coursework. One through the program called the Resistance Training Specialist, and that program has been extremely valuable to me. And the information that I've gained from that is, I'd say, right and on par with what I gained through my kinesiology degree. But it really took my base knowledge and provided me real-life examples, an opportunity to work hands-on and understand the theoretical aspect and then applying it into a real-life scenario. And that was awesome. I really enjoyed having the opportunity to put it into play and into actual practice. After I had gone through the RTS programs, I had also enrolled into the muscle activation technique Jumpstart program. This was a bit of an introductory program that I had studied with that really focused on providing isometric exercises and joint positional forces. So when you incorporate the MAT coursework into the RTS mind frame, the options when it comes to exercise are absolutely endless. And it's no longer learning exercises, but it's learning rules of the body and understanding how the body moves, and from there you can create any exercise you could possibly think of for any individual. My passion, my excitement for the education side of things just kept on building, and that's where I got into studying the muscle activation technique specialist program, which was a one-year internship program that I had taken part in, which taught me more of a hands-on approach to addressing the muscular system. From there, I've always had this passion for education and learning, and I've always said that I will be a lifelong student. And I'm currently enrolled in the muscle activation technique mastery program. I'm slowly working my way through that, and certainly have dreams to carry on with further education as coursework comes up. And I think the years that I've put into the health industry and into learning how to best help my clients certainly puts me in a position to help anybody. It really sets me apart from your average trainer, from your average individual who's put in just a short stint into some of their coursework that potentially could be as short as a weekend. When you really compare it, just the knowledge base isn't quite there. And since this truly is my passion, and I will continually learn. And if I don't know something, if somebody comes to me with a question, I don't know the answer to it, I will simply say that I do not know, but I will find out. And I guarantee you that if you come to me and you stump me on something or something I'm not quite sure of, I will find an answer for you one way or the